Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me again, Mark, and today I wanted to show you how I will try to improve my art. Recently, I've been doing a lot of pieces that kind of so-so. They're not that really good. I mean, they kind of look good, but I'm really not that proud of them. And I think something can be improved with my art. This is the last piece that I think that are really vibrant and really beautiful, and I'm really proud of this one. But yeah, I think I wanted to go on this direction. I've been doing a lot of other things. You might have seen my other videos. I've been doing skin studies, so this is a piece that I made for that video. And I think this one doesn't have that vibrancy that I want. Okay, it is accurate. It looks like the reference photo, but it doesn't have that vibrancy. And you can see that the hair here has a lot more vibrancy than the other things on this piece. So yeah, I wanted to go with what's working, and with that hair, okay, I think we can work something out. And also, I've been doing different things. I've been trying out these succulent studies. Okay, this is one piece that I made, and this is based on Echeveria lawi. Yes, and I really like the values that I place on here, but the colors are not that vibrant. Okay, I think that that can be improved. I think the shadows here are kind of like green, but I actually intended them to look blue, but it looks green and it looks dull. It looks really dull compared to the other midtones that I placed around the succulents. So yeah, the midtones here are good, but the shadows, not so much. Yeah. So there's that, and then I also made some studies of Taylor Swift. I did a piece of her and her current partner and current lover, and that is Travis Kelsey. And you can see here, this is the piece. I posted it on Instagram. Kind of looks like the reference that I used, really. And in that reference, her hair doesn't look blonde. It looked more brown than it is blonde. And yeah, I think I matched everything from the reference, and I'm not happy with the outcome. Okay, I also added the lawi here, and the shadows here are kind of red. Yeah, and that is also not the color that I want. Okay, and yeah, I kind of like what I did here. I'm kind of happy with what I achieved, but I think that there can still be improvements in my art. I think that we can make more changes. We can make our artworks better. And one thing that I did recently to improve my art is to do some studies of other artists that I saw on the internet. And yeah, these are some pieces that I made. Just quick doodles. They are not supposed to be like exhibition pieces. Yeah, I'm not supposed to show you these, but I've been doing studies on hair and how I can render the face using some inks. I bought some pens recently. Yeah, and then there's also here, there's some pens here, and there are some line work done with the watercolor pencils, and I've also tried out some shading, okay, on the skin. But yeah, I'm not really happy with it. It still looks flat, it still looks dull. Okay, I also tried this one. Okay, this is another one of those studies, and yeah, this is with a guy that is a black guy. Okay, that is the reference, and with another with a white guy. And yeah, kind of like how I started out, but once I started rendering this face, once I started adding more colors, adding more colors on the beard and on the hair, I suddenly felt like it was gonna go into that boring stage again. Okay, it was getting weighed down. I think it was going too heavy, and it was losing the vibrancy that I had in the beginning, because when I started sketching, I had this really vibrant sketch lines using my watercolor pencils, and it's really beautiful. But once I started rendering them out, okay, they looked really like, they no longer look like art pieces. They look like photorealistic images, and I don't like how they look. I wanted my piece to be vibrant, to be more colorful. So yeah, that's what we're gonna try today. And yeah, I also did a much better study. Okay, this is a landscape study. Okay, but I did another study with a favorite artist of mine. Her name is Eleeza. You can check her out on Instagram, Eleeza Ivanova. And yeah, that's the style that I'm gonna replicate in our video today. And this is a study that I made referencing her art, but not copying any of her art in particular. Okay, this is following her style, but really not copying any of her art pieces. This is an original art piece of mine, but it has the same style as hers. And I've used a reference here that has some of the lines that she uses. So yeah, the reference that I use already has that, so that's really good. And then I added some more line work on the face, which follows her style of adding line work on the face. Yeah, and then I added a succulent on the side, and I'm really happy with how the succulent turned out. This is not a realistic uh, painting of a succulent. This is more of a like an artwork than it is a duplicate of a reference. Yeah, this is based on like a very afterglow, by the way. So yeah, I'm actually more happy with this one with my other succulents, with my other artworks, because this has that vibrancy and has all the colors that I want, and it looks really good. And even though the face is not that rendered, it has some rendering to it. I'm using a lot of the white of the paper, and that's just how Eleeza works. So yeah, that's the style that I think I'm gonna go for a while. Probably I will not stick with it in the long term, but yeah, we're gonna do one of these pieces for this video today. And yeah, I also made some other studies. Okay, this is from a reference that has blue hair, and I kind of like the vibrancy of her hair, and I wanted to replicate it. And yeah, that's what I did, and I'm really happy with the outcome with this one. I also added some hearts on her cheeks, which follows a lot of digital artists right now. They're also following Eleeza's style of art, but they're doing more like pop style art. They're not doing the classical style that Eleeza does, which is more, I think hers is more artistic, okay, artsy. But other artists right now, nowadays, are doing this much more pop art style of rendering, okay. They have their own stylistic marks on there. So yeah, that's what I try to copy, and I'm really happy with this one. Yeah, and I'm hoping that you can understand me if you're also into the art community right now. Now, I also did this one, and I'm really happy with this one. I think we'll do some kind of video with this one later on. And I did this because I wanted to draw clothing, and I reference actually the style on this one is inspired by Rino Tuna. If you don't know the artist, then probably I will show you in the screen, okay? But he does a lot of really amazing, vibrant rendering of clothing and of anime style characters, and I really liked his style, though I couldn't find myself to work as hard as he does on his character work because I don't have that much time. He has a lot of time, so he makes this really beautiful art. Yeah, but I've been inspired by his work for a very long time, and I tried to copy his style on this one, and I'm really happy with this one. This is more vibrant than my other art pieces, okay, and I will show you why. Okay, I'm using my watercolor pencils here. As usual, this is my medium of choice, and I just use like a packing plastic to organize all of them, okay, because I wanted to carry them without putting them in their tin and their can. They come in a can once you buy them. Yeah, and then what I was actually doing with my previous artwork, which is why I'm not happy with it, because I've been mixing too much, okay? So I've been showing you how to mix colors, and yeah, I would recommend that. Um, if you want to like really copy your reference, you can mix your color to the exact color that you see on your reference. It is possible with these color pencils, okay? But what happens when you do that is you lose the vibrancy, okay? You see this one, okay? It doesn't have that vibrancy that this piece has, okay? That this piece has, okay? It's not as vibrant as those, okay? So you can see that this is just like a copy of the reference, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to copy the reference anymore. So what we can preserve so that we can improve our art, we can have more vibrancy, is to not mix the colors, but rather focus on the values rather than the colors. And that is what Eleeza has done in many of her artworks. Okay, probably I will show you right now what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what comes up when you search Eleeza Ivanova art on Pinterest. Okay, so yeah, Here are her artworks, and I'm really amazed by her pieces. And they're kind of monotone. They don't have a lot of color, but they have a lot of interest. And there is depth to them because she focuses her time on values. And you can see where her shading goes. It really adds depth to the image, to the subject that she is painting. She also does a lot of motion on her art, which makes her art really stand out, because even though they are two-dimensional and they have one color, they are very motion based. Okay, they focus on movement. Her lines move everywhere, and there's just like a very nice design to all her pieces. Really beautiful, really stunning. And she also, the way she does this, really amazing as well. She doesn't do a lot of her baseline art. Okay, she just draws straight out without making some like ugly line work in the beginning or ugly searching lines. So her art is really stunning, and you can see here she also uses a lot of the colors that she has without mixing them. Okay, you can see that this one might look like it's skin tone, but if you zoom in, okay, there's a lot of those bright blues and oranges and I think reds on there, and I think it's really pretty, and that's what I wanna emulate because it's really vibrant. Though I will not make this much stylized approach to my drawings because this is a lot of stylization. You can see here mine is a little more conservative, okay, but hers has a lot more expression on them, and you can see those lines, she places them on there to add movement so that when you look at the image it's not boring, but it is very active. It's a very active image. So yeah, that's what she does. Her lines, her artwork are really stunning. Okay, so yeah, if you don't follow her, you can check out her Instagram. She posts a lot of her art that's really stunning out there. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we're gonna try to emulate. Yeah, and where was I? So as I was saying before, okay, we're gonna focus now more on an artistic approach to our paintings. Okay, we're not gonna be focusing on accuracy on from the reference because that will really not help us grow as artists. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on a limited amount of colors, and I've searched for some references, and I will be using blue and orange for this one, just like with this piece that I made. Okay, these will be the references that we will be using. I will be using these four references. Okay, I'll be using this one for the hands because I wanted to draw hands, and this one for the face. Okay, and this one for the flower. Okay, I wanted to do tulips. Okay, I've done a lot of succulents, and flowers are much more simpler than succulents. Okay, and I think that these tulips are really nice. It will contrast well with her hands and with her face. Okay, and I think I will also paint the tulips orange. Okay, because that's what we have, but the rest of the face will be mostly blue, and because yeah, I wanted the orange to stand out. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go to a blank page and we're gonna start drawing. So as you can see on this time lapse that I just started using watercolor pencils. On my initial sketch, I didn't want to use the graphite pencils because I didn't want to weigh down the artwork with dark colored gray pencils. So I just used the yellow watercolor pencil that I have, and I know that this yellow will not be visible in the final image, in the final painting, because it's so light it will not be visible at all once I added more colors on top, but it will have a subtle effect of adding energy to the piece once it's done, kind of like with underpainting in other watercolor, or if you watch gouache videos, they emphasize the importance of underpainting, because even though it will not show up in the final image, it will still add energy to the artwork as a whole once it's done. So yeah, that's what I did with the yellow and blue lines in the beginning. They will not be entirely visible in the end, but also they will help me see the image before I put my darker colors in, because they will give that base so that I can work on, and I'm making little adjustments as I go. But overall, because the initial sketch was pretty much complete, so I just made some little adjustments here and there. Now on this part, you can see me adding water on some parts of the painting because I wanted to finalize those colors those will be my initial like base colors for the entire painting. So I added water on it. This will activate the paint and will make it much more brighter, much more saturated, and then I can layer some more colors on top later on. So that's what I did, and right now I'm also adding some light blush, but this blush didn't even turn out to be that visible in the end, so I think that I made it too light. So I think I'm gonna be working on my contrast. I'm gonna be darkening some more colors later on, especially when I'm doing my next art pieces. So right now I'm adding the darker blue lines, so this will be the final like lines on the final image. This will help the subject matter pop out a lot more. And just like with what I said in the beginning, I wanted to use blue and orange, but I think I added a lot more yellow than I intended. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the interplay of the blue and the orange and the yellow that really striking, really vibrant. And because I'm mixing them on the paper, it is much more vibrant than if I mix them on a palette earlier or before. Because if I mix them in a palette, they will weigh each other down, they will become very dark. But if you just apply a little bit here and there on the page, on the paper, the colors will interplay with each other. They will produce a new color if you are looking at them from afar, and then when you look at them close up, you will see the different colors, how they play with each other, how they interact with each other. So I think that is really interesting, and I think that's the effect that I wanted on my art pieces going from now on. So right now I'm just adding some final lines, just like with what Eleeza does. Looking back when I did this piece, I think I should have added more contrast. So yeah, I think that's something that I can improve on later on. Okay, so I think this turned out really great, and I'm really happy with the result. Now, there are times when I was doing the painting that it felt like it was gonna die, okay? It felt like the face was turning like, it was looking like it's dead, okay, at some point. But then when the water dried out and when the colors like blended together and when the vibrancy of the colors, because when they're wet, colors tend to look much more darker than they actually are. So when it dried out, it actually balanced itself, and now you can see on her face that it's much more prettier than when it was still wet and it's still processing. I think the color is still processing. Okay, but I think that I really liked how it turned out. I added some lines on her face and on her hands so that we can indicate some of that stylization from Eleeza. Okay, and I think I really liked how it turned out. The colors, like, they don't weigh each other down. Okay, they get darker, but you can still see that there are yellow and there are oranges in there on the shadows, and then there are blue. And yeah, I think I really like balanced the values. I didn't make the face too dark. I didn't fill everything in with color because I don't want to go that route that is very like very three-dimensional. I still wanted to make it like really light. Yeah, and I really liked how it turned out. I also like the tulip. Okay, that is the most rendered part out of the entire piece, I think, because I wanted the focus to be on there. Okay, so if you look at it, okay, your eyes will, I think, move straight her on her face, and then it will move down. Okay, I think the lines will guide you down to the tulip, and then you will look at her hands, and then I think the leaves will like guide your eyes back up. Okay, so I think that's really nice. I think that's really fun. I didn't intentionally do it, but I think that the image itself like leaned into that movement. Okay, and I really liked how it turned out. There are some times when I was making the piece that it felt like it wasn't cohesive. Okay, because the shadows on her face are all on the right side, so at the end I added some more darker colors on the right side of her hands to indicate the shadows there. Yeah, but I think overall it's really nice. Okay, I really liked how it turned out. Probably I will be making more art on this type of creation, type of stylization, because I really liked how it turned out. And probably we will also do some more other pop art as well, or if you have any other art in mind that you want us to make, you can comment it down below. But I think that's about it for this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.